Hey guys, this is Manshark Sub LPs. I'm Sub, this is Crusader Kings II, and this is episode 3 of Millennia in the Making. We're still Duke Otto of Saxony. Nothing's happened to change that in any way, shape or form. We don't have any children yet, but I have noticed one little thing. While we do have the ambition to have a son, which increases our fertility, our wife here, Princess Hildegard of West Francia, has the ambition to have a daughter. That's good, because it means that, well, we have increased fertility. It's additionally good because if we do have a son, she will continue to have this ambition here, which means that she'll have increased fertility until she has a daughter. And on the other side of things, if we have a daughter, then we will continue to have our son ambition until we cancel it or have a son. So that's pretty good. I'm just going to unpause the game, put it up to run at the second lowest speed, just to get some stuff happening. That war is still going on, the Umayyad Holy War for Barcelona. We're really not terribly concerned about it. And we've just had an event turn up. This is a personal development event. I took a good look at myself and thought about my weaknesses and strengths. After many hours of soul searching, I realized, and now we have two options here. The first is I have nothing to be ashamed of, and that gives us a 45% chance of gaining the proud trait. Now, if we go to look at our current traits, we don't already have proud. And what proud does is gives us an extra 0.5 of prestige per month. So that's pretty good. The other one is I have many strengths but more weaknesses, and that has no effects. I don't mind being proud, so let's see how that goes. And I don't believe we have acquired that trait, so luck has a substantial part in this game. So, yep, we'll just keep it unpaused and let things run, see how everything goes. We don't have any plots going on at the moment. Now, just like last episode, I've done a little bit of research, and this research was actually conducted by clicking the Wikipedia link in Duke Otto's character biography here. And surprisingly, our good Duke here is notable enough to be on Wikipedia as Otto I, Duke of Saxony. Now, I'm not sure whether Wikipedia's got some things wrong here or the game has, but I'm kind of leaning towards Wikipedia getting it wrong because this game is just incredible. Oh, okay, let's stop talking about our Wikipedia for a moment because our wife is pregnant. And if we click on her portrait here, we will see that she has acquired the pregnant trait, which gives us, I believe, yes, there it is, under this particular one, which shows our opinion of our wife, we can see that we're getting a plus 25%, a plus 25 bonus, not percent, to opinion because she's pregnant. And we also get a little bit of prestige because, you know, we've proved ourselves to be a manly man by knocking up our wife. Anyway, back to Wikipedia's inaccuracies. Otto is called the Illustrious by later authors. We're going to maybe get that. I don't know. But he was also the Duke of Saxony from 880 to his death. Well, if you see the time up here, it's 869, so I don't know what Wikipedia is talking about. We're the youngest son of Duke Ludolf of Saxony and his wife Oda of Billung, which, quite right, there's Duke Ludolf and there's Oda. I really don't know how to pronounce a lot of words. And we've succeeded our brother Bruno as Duke after his death. Well, Bruno isn't dead. I wouldn't mind him being dead. I mean, he's not exactly very favourable of us at the moment. But, you know, we'll be fine. Let's see. Yes, it got our name right. We have a Ludolfing. Oh, that's a little inaccurate actually. It calls us the Ludolfing noble family, whereas we are obviously the Ludolfinger family. Let's see. Otto rarely left Saxony. Rarely left Saxony, huh? This is Saxony here. We're down here in Baden at the moment, working for the king. Wow. And let's see. Yes, there's a bunch of information about our children, so I hope that turns out to be correct. And he was, I believe, the grandfather of Otto the Great, a Holy Roman Emperor that we were talking about last episode. So that's pretty cool. We'll see how that goes for us. Ideally, our ambitious Duke here would like to be Holy Roman Emperor himself, but that may not come to fruition. So as time passes, we accumulate our money here with our rather modest income, I must say. If we just have a look at our vassals, see how they're all going. We're not getting any money from the Count... Whoop. It looks like I reversed that. We're not getting any money from the Count of Oldenburg for some reason. This will be because of our laws. If we go to our laws, we can see that we have no feudal taxation. That's the default. And you can see if we up it, we start getting penalties to opinion from our feudal vassals. That's because our feudal vassals provide us with more troops than anything else. Okay. We've got another pop-up event here. On a short note, you'll notice that it pauses the game whenever we get a pop-up event. That's because it's important, and it wants you to notice them. So because we're marshal, we've gotten this event. Marshal for our king, that is. Since I came to Baden, we have never had a shortage of soldiers reinforcing our troops. And the only option here is they know that fame and fortune awaits, and to send a letter to my liege. This should increase his opinion of me. And if we just go and check him out. Not yet, obviously. But yes, it should increase his opinion of us by a little bit, which is always handy. The Umayyad War is actually taking a bit of a turn. It used to be minus 16 against us, now it's minus 3. So the Carling dynasty is slowly getting up, doing its thing. That's pretty good. Anyway, our monthly income... Oh, wow. Okay, this is not quite optimal. We've just had another pop-up event, as you can see. We've actually got two. At the age of 18, Hildegard Carling died of pneumonia. So, our French princess wife is dead. But, before she's died, a daughter was born to Duke Otto of Saxony and Princess Hildegard of West Francia, named Agnes. Now, we could rename her if we wanted to. I don't. I'm fine with the names that the game gives us. It turns out to be fairly organic. But if we click on her, we can see she has a genetic trait somehow. Nobody else had this, so she's got a personal trait here, which is that she has a lisp. It's a -1 point penalty to diplomacy, and the opposite sex and homosexual characters of the same sex have a small negative penalty towards her, and other characters with a lisp sort of sympathize with us, so they get a little bit of a benefit. So we'll just say okay to that, pause the game, because we've had a low priority event show up, which is probably, yep. So because we're running under agnatic, cognatic, gavelkind secession laws, that means that our children will inherit first. And even though Agnes is female, we have no male sons, so she is in line to inherit. I doubt that our good buddy Bruno, our good brother, will like this state of affairs, so he might try and assassinate her at some point. However, we don't intend to stay unmarried for too long. So, let's have a look at the marriage thing again. The first option it's giving us is for a courtier in Bulgaria. That would actually be a fairly terrible idea for us. 1. She's a bastard. 2. She's 14 years old. It takes 2 years for her to come of age and actually marry me. 3. She's Orthodox. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but we would prefer to marry a Catholic Christian instead of an Orthodox Christian. So, let's have a look at the next one down. Princess Leo of Asturias is 20 years old, but she has no, so she has no positive fertility traits, but she has a negative one because she's chaste, even though she would like to have a daughter. So, what we're going to do is click on the attribute tabs to try and order some things around. Okay, Rochelle is the granddaughter of Duke Boson of Provence, so she's really not all that important, but she has the Grey Eminence diplomacy trait, which is the highest level diplomacy one, and as you can see, it gives plus 10 to fertility. She is also envious, we don't particularly care about that. She's zealous, she's content, and she's humble. And she would like to get married. We'll keep her in consideration. We've also got Rochelle, the courtier in Provence. She's also the granddaughter of... Okay, so they're sisters, which is why they kind of look a little bit alike. She's only got a plus 5% to fertility from the thrifty clerk trait. But... yeah, she's not too bad. She's not too bad. Let's have a look at the stewardship trait, see what we can get. Okay, so Rochelle has maxed that one out. What I'm doing here is ordering the potential brides by their attribute in descending order. That gets us the highest one first, which, because the traits add, well, the higher level traits add more to the particular statistic or attribute, it should force those particular ones to the front, unless they have some other traits which are not helpful to them. For example, Princess Leo down here, while she has a positive stewardship trait, it's not a very good one. So Berta is beating her, even though she is a mastermind theologian and therefore quite a terrible wife. Oh, well, not exactly terrible, but she's not great because she has a little bit of minus fertility. So we just click around a little bit, and if you click it again, it orders them in ascending order, which usually gets you the newly born children. Got to get my words right. We don't want even... Okay. Epiphania is 29 years old, so she's getting on a little bit. She's Orthodox. But she has the lustful trait, which is a massive fertility boost. The problem with her is that she's too good of a spy master. Understandably, we want a little bit more intrigue because our intrigue statistic is terrible. But I think we're going to try and get Rochelle here. The other things that we can do is we can order them by religion, by ambition, so we can see everybody who wants to get married. We can also order them by age, realm, their culture, the dynasty that they belong to, their name, their opinion of me, and also, fairly important, their rank. So, there are no high-ranking ladies up for getting married at this stage in time. Yeah, this is quite a tough decision, but we're going to marry Rochelle here. So, this is a little bit different from our previous marriage because she's the granddaughter of a duke, not the daughter of a king. So we're going to propose, The Duke Otto and Rothschild get married. As a duke, Otto would gain 7 prestige from marrying into House Bosanid. They are nowhere near as important as the Carlings, and 0 from marrying the relative of a duke. That's because we're a duke. If we were a count, we might get a little bit more from that. If we were a king, we might get a negative from that. We don't get any alliance from a marriage. She's not so related to him. But, yes, so we're going to send that off, and we should get a reply in a few days. Okay, so let's wait out those days. And we just had a low priority message appear. Okay, our brother is not very happy with the current state of affairs. He has founded a faction in the Duchy of Saxony. And here it is. So, he has 26% of my men. So, 205 men is 26% of what I can raise currently. He would like to become the Duke of Saxony. This is something we want to avoid because it would reduce us to just being a count, and, well, yeah, let's not have that happen. So, let's see what our options might be here. He's actually pretty good at intrigue, which is an issue for us. If we go to diplomacy, we can try and give him an honorary title, which has a bit of an opinion bonus, to see if we can mitigate any of his 45 points. If you'll look at this, we're actually getting a penalty because our heir is female. They don't like this, so getting a male heir would be kind of beneficial at this stage. That must have just pushed him over the boundary so that he's done this. So with that in mind, we're going to make him Master of the Hunt. This increases his opinion by 10 points, which should offset the female heir penalty, and it costs us a very small amount of money per month. See, he's already gone down to 35 penalty against us. So we'll see how that goes for a little bit. Nope. And there we go, we've gotten married. We can collect gold, or we can gain prestige. We're going to collect the gold. And there's a message from Duke Boson of Provence telling us that he accepts our suggestion. And we've got the daughter, and we've made Count Bruno Master of the Hunt. Now, because we've married Rothschild and she's in our court, this weak claim thing has appeared. It's letting us know that she has a weak claim on the county of Luxembourg. So we could potentially press that and get the county of Luxembourg. Okay, yeah, this is actually very important here. We would not get the county of Luxembourg if we made this claim. If we win the war, King Louis the Great of Lotharingia, I believe. Lotharingia, Italy, and Burgundy. There's one of the reasons why we won't be pressing this claim. He's the king of 3 places. He would smash us. But anyway, if we did win it, he'd lose 100 prestige, and Rothschild would gain the county of Luxembourg. The important thing here is that we would not. Even though we are her husband, we would not gain that county. What might happen is any children that she has would then have a claim on it, and would go from there. If we made a white peace, Rothschild would lose 100 prestige, as would I. If we lost the war, both of us would lose 150 prestige. I would have to pay 116 gold to the king, and my wife would be imprisoned and lose the claim on the county. Right, and as you can see here, she's got these 3 claims. She's got one on Luxembourg, one on the county of Metz, and one on the county of Cleve, or Cleve. Because these are weak claims, they can only be pressed under particular situations. You can see them here. If a female ruler is currently in possession of that piece of land, and the claimant is male, so that doesn't count for us here because Rothschild is female. Or we hope, because we just married her with the intent of having children. Also, if the land is held by a child, and therefore there is a regency, we can press for claim. We can also press for claim if the title is already being contested with another claim, or if Rashild here was the second or third in line to inherit. But of note, the little green text beneath the claim writing there says that it can be inherited by her successor, which means if we have a male child or a female child, that child, when Rashild dies, will inherit all of these three claims. So that's actually pretty good for us, isn't it? And her ambition of get married has just changed to nothing. So hopefully she sets that up to be have a child at some point. Just check our technology listings. We're well short of getting anything. If we could buy any of these, this little button here would light up for the one that we could buy it in. Now we've got a little bit of cash to splash around. Unfortunately, the only thing that we can afford are castle fortifications. What I usually like to do is get the building improvements that get me money. From there, you can always get the ones that get you more troops. However, what we might do instead is go for the militia training grounds instead of the castle town. We'll be able to get it a little bit quicker. It builds faster. And we've just had a pop-up, not a pop-up event, but a button appear at the top that we'll look at in a moment. And I would like the extra man. Let's see what this is. Okay, we have a vassal inheritance warning. What this is telling us is that on the death of this particular noble, Countess Adela of Gottingen, which is this province here, that province might leave our realm. So if we look here, the heir to the county of Gottingen is Lambert Welf, who is currently the son of, well, Count Gelf, who is the Count of Ulm. We can see what that is by clicking there, all the way down here. That is not very good for us. So, what we're going to have to do here, luckily Countess Adela is 20, so she's got a little bit left in her. By that I mean she shouldn't die fairly swiftly. And she's actually a really good vassal, so I hope that she doesn't. But what we can do... See, this is a little bit tricky. No matter what happens, if we just leave them alone, all of their children will be of Count Gelf's dynasty, the Welf dynasty. So, all of the children will leave our realm. They'll be beholden to whoever Count Gelf's liege is. Prince Karl the Fat, the Duke of Swabia. He's got pretty epic hair. Just on a tangent for a bit, that's another thing Wikipedia got wrong. The pictures or drawings of Duke Otto have hair. So disappointed by that. Yeah, so what we're going to have to do here is assassinate someone. I'd kind of hoped to go a little bit before we delved into the wonderful realm of child murder, but that's pretty much what's going to have to happen here. If we hover over the county of Gottingen here, now this is interesting. If you see the line of succession here, first up is Lambert Welf. That's this guy here, the kid. He's a newborn. He's 0 years old. But this is really interesting here. Second in line is Hedwig Isakonen. Isakonen is Countess Adela's dynasty. So if we go here and have a look... Oh, that's actually kind of strange. What's happened there? Okay, I have no idea what's happened here. Ideally, this guy here, oh, wait, he's a sibling. Right. He's Countess Adala's sibling, so that doesn't matter. But if we go to Lambert... Okay, we're going to have to find Hedwig Isakonen. So we're going to have a look at the character finder. And we're going to type in Hedwig. And... Ah, right, of course, that's a female name. So Hedwig here, 49 years of age. What's her relation? Yeah, I don't actually know what the relation is, so we're going to have a look at the family tree. Well, that's quite unhelpful, so we're going to have a look at the dynasty tree. Okay, right, here we go. Countess Adela here is the current Count of Göttingen. Her aunt, Hedwig, is second in line for succession. Thibault here cannot succeed. And the reason for this, if we go to his character, is because he's a bastard. You can legitimize bastards, but he won't be able to because his dad, Count Cobbo of Göttingen, is dead. So, we're going to have to murder someone here. Now, the main problem that we have in murdering people is we're going to have to kill at least 2 people here. If we just killed off Lambert here, any further children that Countess Adala and Count Gelf here have would still be of Count Gelf's lineage, and it would be a bad thing. So, we're going to have to try and kill this Count. If we click this button here, this allows us to plot murder against anybody, except for our own children, which can be really annoying at some points. And it will tell us that we will contribute 40.9% plot power towards this particular plot. However, the possible plot power is only 40.9. If we click on that, it'll take us straight to the intrigue screen. And if we click on add plots, we can see that nobody will join us. If this little red icon was yellow with a flat hand, it means that if we bribed somebody, they might join us. It would be really nice to get Victor here in on it, because as you can see, 143% is what he would add to the plot power. That's because he's the spy master of Ulm. Unfortunately, he really, really likes his boss, as do most of these people from the look of things. So we'll just cancel that particular problem, navigate our way to Lambert's page, and see if we can assassinate him. Okay, yeah, this is what I was talking about with the yellow hand. So if we paid Victor here a little bit of money, he might be willing. Actually, there's a lot of people who might be willing. That's because nobody really has an opinion of Lambert at this stage. Let's see how much he would want. So we click here, we go to send gift. If we sent 20 gold to Victor, it would increase his opinion of us by 41. And that might invite him into the plot. I'm not willing to chance that, so that's just something we're going to have to keep an eye on. We do have another assassination option. I realize I'm talking about this for a while, but child murder is such a fundamental part of this game. If we go to Lambert's diplomacy, we could arrange to assassinate him for 150 gold. This would have a percentage chance of success and a percentage chance of being discovered. We're just going to have a look at some of our other options. Yes. See, he would like to marry Lambert to our daughter here, but that would be bad for us. If we try and make it matrilineal, which means that all children are of our dynasty, it immediately goes to no. He will not accept that because Lambert is too high in the line of succession to consider a matrilineal marriage. So we'll just unpause it and keep the game going for a little bit. And just keep an eye on that and see what happens. And our total vassal contributions here have gone down. That was about 700 at some point from the levies. Now it's gone down to 585. That is most likely due to our heir being female. And we just check out the factions thing. Yep, so Count Bruno now has 29.2% of my men. And that's because of our reduction in the levies. We haven't managed to convince him to end his particular thing at this stage. We need to cancel this plot because we have no chance in succeeding. And then we'll have a look at to see if we can assassinate Bruno. We really can't. I'm not willing to pay any money to people for it, so we really can't. Luckily, I don't think people like Bruno all that much. Well, I hope people don't like Bruno all that much. Oh, and if you see here, because our wife is such a good steward, our maximum demesne size has increased to 4. Without our wife, it's 2. With our previous wife, it was 3. Now it's 4. So that's pretty good. One of the things we will be looking to do is solidify a bunch of holdings in a primary duchy. Ideally, that would be Saxony. Brunswick is quite a large duchy to consider holding. Now this is good. This is very good. Our Chancellor, the Prince Bishop of Osnabrück, Eckbert, reports to us that his mission to Braunschweig has so far been a success. During his visit to the court of Count Bruno, he has managed to make him understand what a benevolent and peaceful ruler you really are. So, that will increase Bruno's opinion of us by 30, which should bring it to 0. And another positive event. Our steward is going to give us 11.4 gold. That's wonderful. Let's just click back to the terrain view and see how Bruno's going. Yeah, so see, now he has an opinion of us of 0, which is wonderful. He probably won't get rid of that faction because he has other reasons to be a member of that faction, namely that he would inherit, or he was in line to inherit until we had the goal to reproduce. This war for Barcelona is not going very well for us. Well, I say us, but I really mean the entire Carling dynasty. Yeah, it's not looking great. I really don't care. Oh. Well, another pop-up event. Our spy master has discovered a plot where Duke Fankolf of Thuringia seeks to fabricate a claim on the Duchy of Saxony. So we're going to see if we can get him to end his plot. He refuses to end his plot. He's got no reason to, really. We're not his liege lord. We're nothing like that. I would love to declare war on him for Weimar, but we're just going to have to deal with that. Now, if we look at intrigue... Okay, we've had a few more things pop up. We know Count Bruno is a threat, because he's a member of a faction. If we click over to known plots, here we see that Duke Fankolf is trying to fabricate his claim. We can see he has a current plot power of 56. We see that we are technically his target here, and he has a backer. Count Bruno of Braunschweig. This opens up some other options for us. We're going to ask him to stop backing the plot. He might stop backing the plot. I am honestly hoping that he does not. I don't believe that we currently have the... Yes, see, if we attempt to imprison him right now, we only have a 45% chance of actually doing that. If we fail, he can run away or declare a rebellion on us. And by using it, we lower all of our vassals' opinions by 40 points, because it's kind of unlawful imprisonment. So we're going to request that he stop backing the plot. If he refuses, we might be able to well, imprison him. So let's see how that goes. It's all happening. It's getting pretty exciting here. Sibling rivalry is coming to a head. Taking a while. Oh, there we go. Okay, so, dear brother, may your years be short and miserable. I will not withdraw my support for Duke Fankov's plan to fabricate a claim on the Duchy of Saxony. Our option here is okay. But we've had another little tab appear here. The Righteous Imprisonment tab. Which means we can attempt to imprison Count Bruno here with no penalty because he has acted dishonourably towards us. Before we do that, we're going to have a look at his men. Right, here's a key thing. Count Bruno is a pretty shitty military person. He's only got 2 points in martial. That means that he has a minus 40% penalty to his maximum levy of his personal holdings. So, he can raise 190 men. 70 from the city and 100 from the bishopric. We could probably take that with our own forces, but we'll see. So what we're going to actually try and do here, that's a new plot, is we're going to try and imprison him. We could send our marshal to his county, which would give us an additional percentage chance. I'll just check what that actually is. Yes, it would give us an additional 15% chance to arrest Count Bruno. Which would mean that he'd have a 60% chance of being arrested. Just quickly have a look up here. What we can also do is attempt to revoke the county of Braunschweig. This will lower his opinion of us by 80 points, which is huge. But since he's a traitor, nobody will object. We can't actually do that because of the crown laws of the kingdom. So we're just going to imprison him. We failed to capture him. He has raised his flag in rebellion. Send everybody. So, what I've just done, I should explain that. I've come up here to the military screen, clicked this button to raise my personal levies. That will cost me 1.24 gold per month. So that's reduced our maximum monthly income. I've also raised all of my vassal levies. I figured they'll be useful. That costs us nothing. It costs our vassals money. And it costs us opinion with them at certain points. We don't need to hire any mercenaries for this. So, we've raised up our armies. This little bar here is their morale. Vassal levies always have 0 morale upon being raised. You can also see the breakdown here. That will accrue over time. Our personal levies start with 100% morale. What we're going to do is attempt to land our guys there before he raises an army. Okay, too late on that. He has already raised an army. However, he only has 205 guys. I'm not quite sure what's happened there. Right, we're clicking on our counselor there by accident. That's kind of annoying. There we go, we got the army here. We're just going to combine these two armies by clicking the merge button. That reduces their total morale, but it'll get better. And we're going to check leaders. We click on this button to check our leaders. Currently, Ezo, who is one of our courtiers, is leading the army. He has a martial skill of 9, so he's not too bad. Count Bruno is leading their army, and we know he is utter shit at leading an army. So let's unpause it. Just check when everybody gets there. You can mouse over them to check the times. Units with lower morale move at a slower speed. And on the 18th, yep, see, he started to move to Göttingen, probably to try and take out this army before we get there. However, he will get there on the 4th of March. We will get in Braunschweig on the 18th, so we will catch him. Just highlight that, unpause it for a moment, and we have a fight. Here's the fight screen. We're currently in this terrain. It could be mountains, it could be forest. Now, there are 3 flanks to an army. Our left flank has folded immediately. There were 10 guys in our left flank. So you can see here, they're running, they're chasing. You can also see here that these guys are currently shooting at each other. And Ezo von Ulzine here has 9 martial skill, Count Bruno has 2, and his backup commander, Mayor Rudolph, has 1. Let's unpause it and see how we go. So you can see morale damage is the green bar. They've actually managed to kill our commander, so that is not a very good thing. But we have the numbers, therefore we should carry the day, and we have indeed carried the day. Here's our breakdown screen. We took 65 casualties, they took 122. We have changed our war score by 44.6%. We have gained 1.22 prestige, and we didn't get any piety or military tech. He is now running down to Göttingen, where he will meet with this army, who we will just quickly assign the Prince Bishop of Munster to lead. And now we've actually entered the siege phase. You can see here our men against their men. We have more, therefore the siege will progress. Let's see, right here. We could attempt to assault it, but we need to wait a bit of time before that can happen. We'll just see here. Yes, so every week our army gains 11.2 morale. That's just natural re-establishment of our morale. Every week the siege defenders lose 5.3. Actually, that's not every week, that's every 12 days. That can change depending on our tech, their fort level, how much we outnumber them by, all sorts of things. When their morale equals 0, we win the siege. So we're going to get this Saxon army here, who is currently, it's one of our vassal armies, it's not led by anybody, we don't need it to be led by anybody. It will arrive to reinforce our siege on the 20th of March. While Count Bruno flees like a little bitch. There we go. And now, because he had very low morale to start with, he's already running. Ideally we'll capture him, but I don't believe we will. Okay, we lost 4 guys in the initial fight. He lost 16. We changed the war score by another 8.7 points. Got a tiny amount of prestige. And he's running again. We're going to chase him all across Germany if we have to. Now here's another Crown Authority thing. Because the current Crown laws, which I'll just quickly check, are still autonomous vassals, we can't change who leads our vassals' armies. We can appoint somebody, but we can't change them. So that fight went pretty well. We killed 30 of his guys, he only killed 4 of ours, and he's still running. He reaches places before we do, so he counts as the defender, but the terrain around Brandenburg, was it Brandenburg? Brunswick, they all start with a B, is rather favourable, so it doesn't particularly matter. And while we check that out, you can see just here on the siege morale bar that the defender morale is going down. We have just completely wrecked his entire army. So we're going to send these guys over to Braunschweig to continue to reinforce the siege. Okay, that's letting us know that we've been attacked in Göttingen. Meh, who knows when that was. While that happens, we're going to click on this. Yep, so this war is the revolt against the rule of Duke Otto of Saxony. We currently have 77% war score from battles. That's because we have completely wiped out the Duke's armies. We have 72% total war score because they have what's called a ticking war score from controlling all of their holdings. That increases, or ticks, over time. It makes it a little bit harder to attack, but it basically means that if you have accomplished what you set out to achieve, you should win. We're going to see if he will accept peace. So, if we enforce demands, he loses 200 prestige, we imprison him, and we get 50 prestige. If we offer a white peace, we both lose 100 prestige, and I get an opinion. Well, my opinion of him goes up. That's not great. I do not want that to happen. Surrender is even worse. Surrender is that he gets 200 prestige. I get a strong claim on the county of Braunschweig. I lose 500 prestige. My opinion changes like it did under the White Peace, and I actually have to abdicate to my child. So, to use some Australian vernacular, bugger that right in the arse. Besides, we've pretty much won this. This little light has picked up, which means that we could order a direct assault on the holding. We're not going to do that, because, well, we would probably lose. It's really tough to assault a castle of all places. Normally I like to have a 10-to-1 ratio of men, so to properly assault this particular castle with 233 men behind it, I would want at least 2,300 men. We're just going to combine our armies there. And yeah, now what we do is we wait a little bit. You can see the morale of the defenders is going down. You can also see that we actually have a siege leader here. Good old Prince Bishop Gottfried. The main thing here is that we don't want this little revolt to drag on too long. One, because of a ticking war score. You can see they're already getting 8.33% from controlling all of their stuff, instead of the 4.99 that they were. As soon as we take the county of the capital of Braunschweig here, that will stop, because they don't control all of their holdings. So we just wait for that to happen. You can see up here our monthly income has gone down because we've got troops up. But we mainly don't want this war to drag on because our vassals are slowly accruing a negative opinion of us for having their troops raised. So we just kind of wait, probably another 3 ticks, so another 36 days, and we should have it. Meanwhile, let's just check out how this is going. Yeah, so we currently have 121.9 gold. Getting a bit close. We might actually go for the castle town just because the extra income is very worth it. Just check what else you can get. No, we can get walls and fortifications. Walls would be nice in the city, but we don't directly get the income from the city. We get a portion of it. Ah, there we go. We have won the siege of Braunschweig. We've taken no casualties. They lost all their men. And we leave 22 people there. You can see there's a little lines across it, which indicates that it's occupied. That's much more obvious in the realms view. And now we're besieging the city of Bielefeld. They have less people. They have a worse fort level. That will only take us 48 days, minus 27 morale per 12 days. We have also dragged somebody out of their hiding hole after a successful siege. Mechthild, who is a German Catholic, she doesn't like us because we're imprisoning her. She's not exceptional at anything that she does, but we may... No, okay. When we imprison people, we can ransom them back to their vassal lords. In this case, Count Bruno. We can't ransom back Mechthild here because, well, he doesn't care about her. She's lowborn, so she's basically a peasant. She doesn't have a husband. She's not related to anybody. She's just a very basic courtier. We could also execute her, which wouldn't have any vassal relation problems, but it would cost us some piety because she's Catholic. We can also choose to release her. Just, because. We'll hold on to her for the war, just in case something weird happens, but we'll probably release her when the war's over with. Okay, and you can see up here the castle of Braunschweig indicates that it's owned by us. We'll deal with what just appeared up the top in a moment. And we're slowly reinforcing the garrison. So, dear brother, may you live in harmony and contentment. We surrender under these terms. Count Bruno will lose 200 prestige. Count Bruno is imprisoned by Duke Otto, and Duke Otto will gain 50 prestige. This is the amount for winning the war. We could have pushed that, because, and I didn't notice this, but our current war score is 100%. When the war score hits 100%, you've won. And additionally, when it hits minus 100%, you've lost. And you don't have to rely on any diplomacy or anything like that. We're going to accept his terms. So, the revolt against Duke Otto of Saxony has ended. Wonderful. And you can see, he's still the Count. You know, we can't get rid of that. He's still the Count. He has a very negative opinion of us because, well, we're holding him in the dungeon. We also have a very negative opinion of him because he's a traitor and a member of a rebel alliance. Take him away. But if we look at this, now this is important. We'll just get rid of the imprisonment message. We are second in line to inherit the county of Braunschweig after Leutpold Lodelfinger. This fellow. We're going to see what happens if we try and murder him. Again, you know, child murder. Okay, so that's not going to work out too well, because the only person who is willing to join our plot is Nikolaus, the Marshal of Braunschweig. He's a dwarf. I have a very funny mental image right now of a dwarf in armor ordering troops around, but, you know, we'll just go with that. But anyway, that's wonderful. So we can actually force him to stop backing the plot right now, I believe. It's still a maybe. So we're going to send that out again. Just see how it goes. He really should abandon that plot, considering that he's in jail. But yeah, war's over. So now the important thing to do is to disband the army. It will tell us that we get all of our units together properly. It's all good. If we disbanded in foreign territory, we would get a percentage of our troops back because, well, we're disbanding them in foreign territory. That war was really short. Really nice. Really good, actually. So, he does indeed not withdraw his support. He's kind of an asshole, isn't he? Well, I really hope that we get the Crown Authority soon. We hopefully would. If one of these guys would just get on board, I'm sure we would win Crown Authority there. Yeah, if one of those guys would do that, that would be really handy because, well, I would really like to revoke this guy's title. That would be very easy to do at that point. Anyway, we have probably gone on for almost an hour, so I think that's a pretty good endpoint, the end of an unsuccessful rebellion. So, I've been Subs, you've been yourselves, later.